in this first part, we're going to be talking about local regulators versus hormones. So for local regulators, it is local signaling. So imagine we have a signaling cell right here. Signaling cell, right? And this cell has a message that it wants to send to all these other cells. Let's call them target cells. So local regulators are small cell messages, chemical messages that this signaling cell has. And it wants to tell these cells, so it just boop, right to the next cell, right to its target cell. These cells are normally next to each other, so imagine cells that are compact together, like boop, boop, boop. They're all compact together, right? And this cell has a message, and it wants to tell this cell. So this is how it would do it. So how to do that is that in animal cells, we have these things. Imagine this is one cell membrane, and this is another cell membrane, and this is a cell right here, and another cell, right? And this guy wants to send a message to this guy. Well, we have these small things that are called gap junctions, which connect them together. These gap junctions connect these two cells together. So that this message right here, imagine this one, it's in this cell, right? And it wants to go over there. It just travels straight through the gap junction into this cell. And it tells this cell, oh, you got to do something. Yeah, local regulators. So now hormones are different. Hormones are long distance. So imagine your brain right here, boop. Your brain wants to tell your, let's say your liver, to do something, right? But like the brain is all the way up here in your head, and then here's your arms, and your liver is all the way down here. Well, how is it going to get a message from here, point A, to point B? Boop. How does it do that? Well, it does that via bloodstreams. Oops. So our body has a lot of bloodstreams. And these messages, here, imagine this is a bloodstream, right? So these messages, let's say this message is from the brain cell, and it's saying, oh, liver, you gotta do something, right? And this is the liver cell over here, way across the body. Well, it takes a message that it wants to say, and it goes through the bloodstream, boop, 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 until it gets here. What is here? The target cell. Which would mean that in this instance, the brain is the signaling cell. Signaling cell. And so these chemical messages can affect activities in other parts of the body. So let's say we start, it was a message sent from the brain. It affected something that happened in the liver. So it basically starts from the signaling cell, and it secretes its hormone out and into the blood vessel, travels till it gets to the target cell. And then this target cell will then start its cell response. Whatever the brain is telling the liver to do. Hormones. So now we have protein-based hormones versus lipid-based hormones. So first we have lipid-based hormones. So these are steroids. Let's pretend this right here is a steroid. And these are lipids. So what do we know about lipids? Lipids are hydrophobic. So they don't like water. Boop. what else do we know about hydrophobic? They can pass through the cell membrane. Why? Because this area right here is non-polar. Okay, so imagine we have our cell membrane right here. Double membrane, right? And we have this tiny steroid. It's a lipid. So it can go straight through the cell, boop, and it attaches to a receptor protein. So let's say I have a receptor protein right here, right? This is my receptor protein. So steroid from outside comes in straight through the cell membrane onto the receptor protein. Where does this go? It goes to the nuclear envelope, and here's the nucleus. And inside the nucleus, what do we have? We have the code of life called DNA. Oop, let me draw that real quick. Boom, we have DNA inside our nucleus. So the steroid comes straight through the membrane, attaches to a protein receptor, and these two travel to the nucleus, where it binds with DNA, and then it transcribes it, so it makes mRNA. So this process is going to be explained a bit more in detail later, but basically it just makes like another copy of RNA, something alike, and this thing can go ahead and make some proteins. So codes for some proteins. Boom, proteins. And then these proteins go and do a cell response. So that can be a whole bunch of different things. So recap of all this right here. Right? Steroids are lipids, and they're hydrophobic. They don't like water, which means they can go straight through the cell membrane. Cell membrane, right here. Lipid bilayer. Steroid enters straight through the lipid bilayer, attaches to the protein receptor, travels to the nucleus where it sees DNA, and then it transcribes an mRNA that's alike. Sorry, forgot the word real quick. And then transcribes a protein, makes a protein. Protein does cell response. Okay, and now we have protein base. So protein base are more like, here's the nuclear envelope, or sorry, not nuclear envelope, cell membrane, boop, right? And there is a protein receptor right here, boop. And so we have a ligand. That's a chemical messenger, we're going to call it. We have a ligand right here, right? But it is not a steroid, it is not a lipid, so it cannot go through the cell membrane. It can't do that. So it attaches to here, right? And then this thing, the protein receptor, becomes activated. And then it starts cell response. So it starts sending out cell response. And we'll get into that later. But basically, this thing activates this, and this starts cell response. And so that involves a whole bunch of enzymes. And then the whole cell, these do all different sort of little things, which basically regulate the cell. The end of protein-based hormones.